Succot. In traditional Ashkenazi pronunciation, Succos, literally Feast of Booths, is commonly translated to English as Feast of Tabernacles, sometimes also as Feast of the Ingathering. It is a biblical Jewish holiday celebrated on the 15th day of the month of Tishrei. During the existence of the Jerusalem Temple, it was one of the 3 pilgrimage festivals on which the Israelites were commanded to perform a pilgrimage to the temple. Sukkot has a double significance. The one mentioned in the book of Exodus is agricultural in nature, Feast of Ingathering at the year's end, and marks the end of the harvest time and thus of the agricultural year in the land of Israel. The more elaborate religious significance from the book of Leviticus is that of commemorating the Exodus and the dependence of the people of Israel on the will of God. The holiday lasts 7 days in Israel and 8 in the diaspora. The first day is a Shabbat-like holiday when work is forbidden, followed by intermediate days called Chol Hamoed. The festival is closed with another Shabbat-like holiday called Shemini Atzeret. The Hebrew word Sukkot is the plural of sukkah, booth or tabernacle, which is a walled structure covered with succot. A sukkah is the name of the temporary dwelling in which farmers would live during harvesting, a fact connecting to the agricultural significance of the holiday stressed by the book of Exodus. As stated in Leviticus, it is also intended as a reminiscence of the type of fragile dwellings in which the Israelites dwelt during the 40 years of travel in the desert, after the exodus from slavery in Egypt. Throughout the holiday, meals are eaten inside the sukkah and many people sleep there as well. On each day of the holiday it is mandatory to perform a waving ceremony with the 4 species origins. In the book of Leviticus, God told Moses to command the people, "On the first day you shall take the product of hadar trees, branches of palm trees, boughs of leafy trees, and willows of the brook, and you shall live in booths 7 days. All citizens in Israel shall live in booths, in order that future generations may know that I made the Israelite people live in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt." The origins of Sukkot are both historical and agricultural. Historically, Sukkot commemorates the 40-year period during which the children of Israel were wandering in the desert, living in temporary shelters. Agriculturally, Sukkot is a harvest festival and is sometimes referred to as Chag HaSif, as it celebrates the gathering of the harvest. Laws and customs. Sukkot is an 8-day holiday, with the first day celebrated as a full festival with special prayer services and holiday meals. The 7th day of Sukkot is called Hoshana Rabbah and has a special observance of its own. Outside Israel, the first and last 2 days are celebrated as full festivals. The intermediate days are known as Chol Hamoed. According to Halakha, some types of work are forbidden during Chol Hamoed. In Israel, many businesses are closed during this time. Throughout the week of Sukkot, meals are eaten in the sukkah and the males sleep there, although the requirement is waived in case of rain. Every day, a blessing is recited over the lulav and the etrog. Observance of Sukkot is detailed in the book of Nehemiah chapter 8 verses 13 to 18 and Leviticus chapter 23 verses 34 to 44 in the Bible, the Mishnah, the Tosafta, and the Jerusalem Talmud and Babylonian Talmud. Building a sukkah. The sukkah walls can be constructed of any material. The walls can be freestanding or include the sides of a building or porch. The roof must be of organic material, known as succot, such as leafy tree overgrowth, shakmats or palm fronds. It is customary to decorate the interior of the sukkah with hanging decorations of the 4 species. Special prayers. Prayers during Sukkot include the reading of the Torah every day, reciting the Musaf service after morning prayers, reciting Hallel, and adding special additions to the Amidah and Grace after meals. In addition, the service includes rituals involving the 4 species. The lulav and etrog are not brought to the synagogue on Shabbat. Hoshana. On each day of the festival, worshippers walk around the synagogue carrying the four species while reciting Psalm chapter 118 verse 25 and special prayers known as Hoshannot. This takes place either after the morning's Torah reading or at the end of Missah. This ceremony commemorates the willow ceremony at the temple in Jerusalem, in which willow branches were piled beside the altar with worshippers parading around the altar reciting prayers. Ushpizan, a custom originating with Lurianic Kabbalah, is to recite the Ushpizan prayer to invite one of 7 exalted guests into the Sukkah. These Ushpizan represent the 7 shepherds of Israel: Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Aaron, Joseph and David. According to tradition, each night a different guest enters the Sukkah followed by the other 6. Each of the Ushpizan has a unique lesson which teaches the parallels of the spiritual focus of the day on which they visit. Chol Hamod. The 2nd through 7th days of Sukkot are called Chol Hamod. These days are considered by Halakha to be more than regular weekdays but less than festival days. In practice, this means that all activities that are needed for the holiday, such as buying and preparing food, cleaning the house in honor of the holiday, or traveling to visit other people's Sukkot or on family outings, are permitted by Jewish law. Activities that will interfere with relaxation and enjoyment of the holiday, such as laundering, mending clothes, engaging in labor-intensive activities, are not permitted. Religious Jews typically treat Chol Hamod as a vacation period, eating nicer than usual meals in the Sukkah, entertaining guests, visiting other families in the Sukkot, and taking family outings. Many synagogues and Jewish centers also offer events and meals in the Sukkot during this time to foster community and goodwill. On the Shabbat, which falls during the week of Sukkot, the book of Ecclesiastes is read during morning synagogue services in Israel. This book's emphasis on the ephemeralness of life echoes the theme of the Sukkah, while its emphasis on death reflects the time of year in which Sukkot occurs. The penultimate verse reinforces the message that adherence to God and His Torah is the only worthwhile pursuit. Hakiel. In the days of the temple in Jerusalem, all Israelite, and later Jewish men, women, and children on pilgrimage to Jerusalem for the festival would gather in the temple courtyard on the first day of Chol Hamod Sukkot to hear the Jewish king read selections from the Torah. This ceremony, which was mandated in Deuteronomy chapter 31 verses 10 to 13, was held every 7 years, in the year following the Shemitah year. This ceremony was discontinued after the destruction of the temple, but it has been revived in Israel since 1952 on a smaller scale. Simchat Beit Hashuvah. During the intermediate days of Sukkot, gatherings of music and dance, known as Simchat Beit Hashuvah, take place. This commemorates the drawing of the water for the water libation on the altar, an offering unique to Sukkot. When water was carried up the Jerusalem pilgrim road from the pool of Siloam to the temple in Jerusalem. Hoshana Rabbah. The 7th day of Sukkot is known as Hoshana Rabbah. This day is marked by a special synagogue service in which 7 circuits are made by worshippers holding the 4 species, reciting Psalm chapter 118 verse 25 with additional prayers. In addition, a bundle of 5 willow branches is beaten on the ground. Shemini Atzeret and Simchat Torah. The holiday immediately following Sukkot is known as Shemini Atzeret. Shemini Atzeret is usually viewed as a separate holiday. In the diaspora, a second additional holiday, Simchat Torah, is celebrated. In the land of Israel, Simchat Torah is celebrated on Shemini Atzeret. On Shemini Atzeret, people leave the Sukkah and eat the meals inside the house. Outside of Israel, many eat in the Sukkah without making the blessing. The Sukkah is not used on Simchat Torah. In Christianity, Sukkot is celebrated by a number of Christian denominations that observe holidays from the Old Testament. These groups base this on the fact that Jesus celebrated Sukkot. The holiday is celebrated according to its Hebrew calendar dates. The first mention of observing the holiday by Christian groups dates to the 17th century, among the sect of the Subbotniks in Russia. In the Orthodox Church, the holiday is said to correspond to the New Covenant Feast of the Transfiguration. Academic views. De Moore has suggested that there are links between Sukkot and the Ugaritic New Year festival, in particular the Ugaritic custom of erecting 2 rows of huts built of branches on the temple roof as temporary dwelling houses for the gods. Some have pointed out that the original Thanksgiving holiday had many similarities with Sukkot in the Bible books. Succos inspired by Rabbi Moshe Gersht. Succos Secrets by Rabbi Dovid Meisels.